Welcome, everybody. Shabbat Shalom. We're so happy that you guys are here with us at Junior Congregation. I am Dana Koren, the Shinshinit here at United Hebrew. Rabbi Bellows here with me, and we're welcoming Shabbat together. You're more than invited to sing with us and pray with us. We're so excited that we are here. So let's start with some Bim Bam. Bim bam, bim bidi bam, bim bidi bim bim bam, bidi 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 bim bam, bim bidi bam, bim bidi bim bim bam. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat Shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, wonderful. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Thank you, Donna, for that. And we are ready to begin our prayers this evening. And for that, we're going to begin with the Baruch Hu, our call to worship. So we are, if you would like to stand, you are welcome to stand. You can also remain sitting, but if you know which way east is, you could also try to face east. And we are going to sing this together, starting our prayers together. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. And you can remain standing and put one finger in the air and repeat after me. There is one God. Now take that finger and point that finger right at yourself. There is one me. There's only one God, and there's only one me. And we celebrate how unique God is, that there's only one God, just as we celebrate how unique we each are, that there's only one us. And so if you'd like to, some people close their eyes, just like our little friend there, just like our little friend right over there with the headphones is doing, that you can close your eyes and sing together. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Okay, if you were standing, you can have a seat, and if you were already sitting, then just stay sitting. That's fine. But we now think about those wonderful things that God has done for us and for our ancestors over the years. And we ask the question, God, who is like you? Mi chamocha. And it's a question that maybe we can't really answer. We can't really say who is like God, because the answer is maybe no one's like God. But we sing together the same song when Moses and the children of Israel crossed the Sea of Reeds. We sing, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar v'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Osef Eleh. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? When Moses and the children crossed the sea, they sang to you with songs of joy. Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi kamocha nedar v'kodesh, Nora tehilot, Osef Eleh.
Now it's the time for you guys to think about someone who needs a healing, that you guys wants to feel better. You can say it out loud, or you can just think about it, say it in your heart. So before Misha Beirach, we want you guys to think of a person, say it, or keep it to yourselves.
And for all those names that either you said out loud or that you're thinking of privately and quietly, we ask for a refuah shlema, a full recovery and a speedy recovery, as we join in together singing the prayer for healing, Mishaberach. Mishaberach Avoteinu Mekor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find a courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, God, who heals the sick, and together we say Amen. And we'll take just a moment to kind of just find a peace, a moment of peace, try to find some peace and close our eyes, find some stillness. And You can think about what you did this past week. You can think about what's coming up this next week. You can use the oops, gimme wow method where you say, oops, I'm sorry, God, for something I did this past week. Gimme, you can say, God, give me like the strength to do what I need to do. Give me patience with my brother or my sister or my parents. And you can say, wow, just think about, wow, how wonderful this world is. Take a moment for some silent prayer, some silent peace and meditation. And we ask that God accepts our prayers that we've done here today. We sing, Yehilu Ratzonim Refi, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, God, my rock and my redeemer. Yehilu Leratzonim Refi, Behegyon Libi, Lefanecha. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, V'goali, V'goali. Okay, it is story time. And I'm going to read to you all a book this evening, this Shabbat, called Chicken Soup, Chicken Soup. Donna, do you like chicken soup?
Of course.
Okay, when do you tend to eat chicken soup? When you're like sick or when you're sad or on a holiday? When do you tend to eat chicken soup?
When I sick, my mother used to make it.
When you're sick. Yeah, I definitely I love chicken soup, although I love even more. There's this like powdered soup in the store by Osem, but I forget what it's called now. I'm blanking on what it's called. But that is definitely my favorite. And putting in like the Osem, like the little soup nuts that you put in that are crunchy. Yeah, I love doing that. So we're going to read a book called Chicken Soup, Chicken Soup, and it's about a young girl and her two grandmothers. And let's see if I can get to a spot where you can all see this. Okay. Two grandmas, two soup pots, two family traditions. So here's one grandmother, here's the other grandmother. Two recipes for chicken soup? Uh-oh. Two family traditions, two recipes for chicken soup. How could a little piece of dough stuffed with meat and floating in a bowl of chicken soup cause a problem? Well, over here, one of her grandmas makes the dumpling, and it's called kreplach. And her other grandma makes a very similar dumpling, and it's called a wonton. Donna, have you ever had kreplach or a wonton?
Of course. Krepach. We have plenty of those in Israel.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good having kreplach soup. It started one rainy afternoon when I went to my bubby's, my grandma Ellie's, for lunch. My grandma was named Ellie too. So she went to her grandma Ellie's for lunch. Sophie, darling, here's a nice bowl of hot chicken soup for you. I picked up my spoon and smiled when I saw the dumpling in my soup. Yum! Wonton, my favorite. Wonton? Who's a wonton? Bubby asked. Silly Bubby, it's in the soup. Sophie, my zissala, my sweet one, those are kreplach, not wontons. This is Jewish chicken soup, which I make for you just the way my Bubby made it for me. Now eat, it's delicious. So Sophie called it a wonton, and her bubby is like, oh, no, no, no. That is a kreplach. But you know, they do have dumplings all around the world. They have different kinds of dumplings. For the rest of the afternoon, we played dress up and had a wonderful time. She's hanging out with her bubby. When Mommy came to pick me up, I heard Bubby muttering about a granddaughter who didn't know the difference between kreplach and wontons. Oh, this girl, she doesn't know the difference between kreplach and wontons. Is it, Donna, do they have wonton soup in Israel?
Yeah, but in like specific restaurants.
Like in a Chinese food restaurant, maybe?
Yeah.
Like an Asian food restaurant? Yeah. A few days later, I went to my Nene's, my grandma Nancy's, for lunch. Her other grandma. Here you are, Sophie. Good hot soup, Nene said. Kreplach, I said. I love kreplach. What's kreplach? Nene asked. Silly Nene, in the soup. Sophie, my bao, my baby, my treasure, this is Chinese chicken soup with wonton. I make it for you just the way my Nene made it for me. Now, eat and grow strong. So both grandmas are passing on this tradition that they learned from their grandmothers, but one family calls it wontons and one family calls it kreplach. For the rest of the afternoon, Nene and I had fun painting pictures. But when Daddy came to pick me up, I heard her talking to him about a granddaughter who didn't know the difference between wontons and kreplach. She's so confused because first she said they were wontons and one grandmother said, no, they're kreplach. Then she said they're kreplach and one grandmother said, no, they're wontons. I knew the difference between soup with kreplach and soup with wontons. I just accidentally mixed them up. Oh, and look, this pot's kind of invisible. It's kind of see-through. Do you see that, Donna?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool? All right. I just accidentally mixed them up. Bubby's chicken soup had carrots and parsley. Nene's chicken soup had bamboo shoots and green onions. Wontons are not kreplach, and kreplach are not wontons. See, here's the stuff that went into her one grandmother's kreplach soup, and here's what went into the her other grandmother's wonton soup. And look, there's a kreplach, there's a wonton. They're similar in some ways, and they're different in some ways, right? Miss Donna, can you point out to us maybe like something like a way that they're similar?
The shape.
So the shape is somewhat similar, right? Because they're a little bit round. But
Different by the shape, but maybe the ingredients are
definitely that, yeah.
the same, similar.
Yeah, so
But it's like pretty similar in like everything, but the shape is quite different as we see, but the ingredients are similar.
Kind of close, kind of similar. A little different, a lot the same, and I could prove it, she says. So she's saying what Donna's saying, that like they're really similar. They're kind of the same in a lot of ways. They're definitely domim, similar to each other. Okay, when I told Mommy and Daddy about my idea, they liked it. So the next week, I invited Bubby and Nene to our house for lunch. I asked each of them to bring their soup. Soon, Bubby's chicken soup with kreplach simmered on the stove next to Nene's chicken soup with wontons. Your soup smells very good, Nancy, Bubby said. Yours too, Ellie, Nene said. They're looking at each other's soups. I took a big serving bowl out of the drawer. Daddy helped me pour in both soups until the two were mixed together. What? She's mixing together the soups together, or did I misread that? Oh, no, she did. She mixed it all together. Presenting the first ever Jewish, Chinese, kreplach, wonton, chicken soup, I said. Mommy ladled the new soup into bowls, and we all sat down at the table. I can't imagine what that would taste like. That sounds amazing. You know, Bubby said, to be completely honest, my chicken soup isn't exactly the way my Bubby made it. I buy wonton wrappers to make my kreplach. So your Jewish chicken soup is a little bit Chinese, I asked, and Bubby nodded. That's right. I have something to say too, Nene said. I buy the chicken for my soup at the kosher market. That means it's a lot of Jewish people go there. The flavor is better. So your Chinese chicken soup is a little bit Jewish, I asked. Yes, it is, Nene said. There's the kosher market. Here's her one grandma filling her kreplach with wonton wrappers. A little Jewish, a little Chinese, a lot like me, I said. Sophie Chang, you're a genius, Bubby said. I've always thought so, Nene agreed. Kreplach schmeplach. That's hard to say. Can you say that, Tana? Kreplach schmeplach. Kreplach schmeplach, she said. Let's eat. Wait a minute, don't you mean wonton schmonton? Nene asked. I laughed and dipped my spoon into my bowl. A bite of kreplach, a taste of wontons. I said. Oh my God, that sounds so good. I'm going to have to go get some nice soup after this.
Me too.
Mommy, Daddy, Bubby, and Nene all started eating. A wonderful blend, Bubby said. The best of both, said Nene, just like our granddaughter. See them sitting around the table? And even their kitty named Yafa is eating. Suddenly, I knew what made Bubby's and Nene's soup so much alike. The special ingredient in every bowl of any grandma soup is ahava, love. Betach, ahava. Shabbat, also Shabbat is a good ingredient to put in your soup, right? That Shabbat spice. Save room, everybody, Bubby said. I made knishes. And I bought egg roll, Nene said. And are we talking dough filled with vegetables then fried, Bubby asked. Precisely, Nene said. One of them calls them kreplach, the other calls them egg rolls. I couldn't wait to taste my first egg knish or kneg roll. I knew it would be delicious. The end. I love that book. Donna, does that make you hungry for some good Shabbat food?
Some good kreplach.
Some good kreplach, some good knishes, and Shabbat food for me is just as easily Chinese food as well. I love Chinese food. So thank you, everybody. We're going to sing one last song right now. We're going to sing about how beautiful this Shabbat is. We sing how wonderful this day is, how beautiful this day is. Mayafeh Hayom. So if you know this, sing with me. And I want to thank Donna for joining me today for this too, this evening. Mayafeh Hayom Shabbat Shalom. Mayafeh Hayom Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, and everybody have a good evening and a good rest of your Shabbat, and may you eat lots of good